outside Jackson Memorial Hospital this morning. As Vanessa said, we are waiting on that procession to begin any moment now. In the meantime, we do want to get out to our Samantha Sosa. She's been watching the situation, watching the preparations for us all morning. Samantha is there live with more on what we can expect. Samantha.
Ethan, Vanessa, that's right. Well, you can expect these dozens and dozens of officers from agencies all over South Florida to be honoring this fallen hero, paying their respects. Just moments ago, we saw the honor guard come out with flags to prepare for Officer Echaverry to be brought out again, as you guys said, taken to the medical examiner's office about a quarter of a mile away. Right now, you're taking a look at Jackson's critical care pavilion. This is where everyone is gathered in front of. And you'll see dozens of officers, dozens of police, motorcycle cruisers. You see Miami-Dade Fire Rescue and a truck there as well, all in preparation, waiting for this procession to get underway, scheduled for 10 o'clock, just a few minutes from now. They have been preparing all morning for this, and a lot of heavy hearts out here, I can tell you, this morning. You want to take a look at 7 Skyforce right now. You can take a look overhead of what things look like here. You can see that there are so many officers here to show respect for fallen Officer Echaverry. It's been a tough week for all of these law enforcement officers, an unimaginable loss. Echaverry, his nickname was Etchy. He was just 29 years old. Again, as you guys mentioned, he was killed in the line of duty. He was shot on Monday night while protecting his community. He's a 5-year veteran of the Miami-Dade Police Department. And we're told he had a constant desire to learn and grow as a police officer. He was part of the Robbery Bureau. He was in the Robbery Intervention Detail. He loved serving this community, the Miami-Dade Police Department tell us. And he has been here at Jackson Memorial Hospital since Monday. He was surrounded by his family, his fiance, fellow officers, and you can see all of them here to support him. This young man, clearly very loved. Again, 29-year-old Cesar Echaverry was killed in the line of duty, and now big part of our community here to show their respects and to honor his life as a procession is scheduled to start any moment now. Again, taking a look at 7 Skyforce, you can see from above what's happening here. They are waiting here for Officer Echaverry's body, and the procession is starting right now. Let's take a look.
watching the procession of fallen Miami-Dade police officer Cesar Echaverry. His body taken to that fire rescue truck. It is then going to be transported to the medical examiner's office just about across the street, quarter-mile away from Jackson Memorial Hospital. Officer Echaverry was shot in the line of duty on Monday night for 2 days. He fought the community, the law enforcement community. South Florida prayed for his recovery. Unfortunately, we got the word from Miami-Dade Police Director Alfredo Ramirez on Wednesday night that he did pass away. And today, now, 2 days later, this grand, beautiful, deserved show of support from his fellow officers and the community as a whole. They're asking the public, if you want to go there to Jackson Memorial and show your respect, you can as well. They're going to be walking his body from Jackson over to the medical examiner's office.
It is always incredible to see the scope of support for something like this. And you see it's not just Miami-Dade police who are there, it's members of the law enforcement community from all across South Florida there to show their support. And really we have to remember those most affected by this beyond the law enforcement community this morning are Echaverry's family, his mother, his extended family, his fiance who he left behind, people who knew him best, along with his brothers and sisters in blue. Our Samantha Sosa is there on the JMH campus this morning. She's been watching this along with us. Samantha, I know from here, just watching these live pictures, it is very emotional and somber. I'm curious what the tone is there at JMH.
A very, very somber tone, Ethan. Definitely some heavy hearts, and you can feel it as these law enforcement officers prepare to say goodbye to one of their fallen heroes. Right now, we just saw a group of motorcycles, a motorcade, leaving from the critical care pavilion here at JMH, and you guys saw that Officer Echaverry's casket taken into a Miami-Dade fire rescue truck, and it's about to start moving right now to be taken to the medical examiner's office. And we will take a look right now as this motorcade starts moving.
We know that our TJ Parker is also there on the scene. He is at the medical examiner's office. TJ, you talked a little bit about the procession behind Officer Echaverry's body. So his family is following him along with Miami-Dade Police Director Alfredo Ramirez.
Yes, that is correct, and we are across the street here waiting for that procession to come down Northwest 10th Avenue, which is where the medical examiner's office is. And this has been a long, emotional, and tasking week for members of law enforcement in the South Florida community. As you look here along Northwest 10th Street, you can see hundreds of officers, and Ethan, you had mentioned it, not only officers from Miami-Dade Police, but the city of Miami. We are also seeing Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Here we go. This is the procession leading Officer Echaverry's body from Jackson Memorial Hospital here to the medical examiner's office. It is a brief trip, but it is indeed ceremonial and emotional as well, as you can imagine, as you watch these officers on their motorcycles on Northwest 10th Street here. We are also seeing members of the community come out here as well. Miami-Dade College, its campus, is in this vicinity, so we're also seeing some staff from them, as well as possibly some college students here as well, watching this procession take place. But yes, we are waiting for that procession to start coming around the corner here. It is going down Northwest 20th, and then we'll take a right here on Northwest 10th Avenue, which is the intersection that you're looking at right now. And again, watching this, it's an emotional thing, especially since this happened on Monday, and we have seen the solidarity amongst officers who may have not known Officer Echaverry, and they are here again today honoring him. They were at the hospital at Rider Trauma when he was taken to the hospital after that incident on Monday night. Do want to talk about a little bit about the procession. There are between 5 and 6 vehicles in the procession, a fire rescue truck, an unmarked vehicle which will be occupied by Miami-Dade Police Department Director Alfredo Ramirez, the Miami-Dade Police Department Deputy Director, as well as the fire commander. The second vehicle is a mural car, and then 3 other vans following with the family inside. Here's the fire truck coming around on Northwest 10th Avenue here, surrounded by Miami-Dade police officers on motorcycles and a Miami-Dade police officer car. Now the procession goes under the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue ladder trucks here, which is under a ginormous flag, which will lead Officer Echaverry's body into the medical examiner's office. Out of respect, I do want to take a moment as the procession comes by. And as we watch from 7th Skyforce up above, once again, the procession making its way to the Miami-Dade County Medical Examiner's office, about a quarter mile from Jackson Memorial Hospital's critical care pavilion where this all started. And you can see, again, the massive, massive show of support from the law enforcement community, from those who served with him at Miami-Dade Police, and many, many others there to show their support. A large American flag there draped where the ambulance just drove underneath, and you see officers saluting as the procession passed this morning.
And all week long, the community at large, South Florida, we've all been sharing the picture of Officer Cesar Echaverry. We know his face. Miami-Dade Police released a statement yesterday, so we learn a little bit more about the man behind the uniform, the hero. Officer Echaverry was born in Hialeah in 1992. He is only 29 years old. He went to Ferguson High School. He played varsity baseball. He went to Miami-Dade College. He went to FIU, majoring in criminal justice. That's the photo that so many of us have been sharing all week, praying and hoping. And unfortunately, Wednesday night, we did get the word that he passed away. And so today, they are now taking his body to the medical examiner's office. He joined Miami-Dade Police Force in April of 2017. We're being told by Miami-Dade Police he loved spending time outdoors with his family and his friends. He loved his morning cafecito. I feel like so many of us can certainly empathize with that. He loved bike riding in Virginia Key, making memories with his family, and it was his family who was by his side when he passed away on Wednesday night. He survived by his father Cesar, his mother Sandra, his sister Sandra, and his fiancée Stephanie.
And it's heartbreaking, Vanessa, anytime we watch something like this. It adds to that knowing that Echaverry was 29 years old, really in the prime of his life. And we know that our officers go to work every day knowing that it could be their last, that could be the day they don't make it home to their families. This is a risk they take to protect the community, and that's something that leaders from cities across South Florida to law enforcement agencies have all said. It's something that it's one of the reasons this has such an impact within the law enforcement community is to see something like this. It is a worst nightmare for those who do this job every day and for those who love the people who do this job every day.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, we've seen this far too many times. 43 officers, this is according to Miami-Dade Police, have died on the line of duty. They know the risk. Obviously, that is why they get this sort of procession, ceremonial procession, because it's deserved. They go into this profession knowing it is a dangerous profession, knowing they are putting their lives on the line, but they are putting their lives on the line for us, for the community, to help us, to save us, to keep us safe. And unfortunately, Officer Echaverry passed away making that ultimate sacrifice for his community.
The mayor of Miami-Dade County, Daniela Levine Cava, touching on that just this week, saying on Twitter, "Our county is safer because of his bravery, and it's a sacrifice we will never forget." And that is an understatement, I believe, to say we will never forget this. Once again, especially from someone 29 years old with the rest of their life ahead of them, to put their life on the line to keep us safe. Again, this was a robbery suspect, an armed robbery suspect being pursued when a shootout happened, leaving this young man dead.
And we know that the community at large, other agencies have been showing their support as well. The South Florida Police Benevolent Association building, they flew their flags at half-staff. They continue to do so. We know at Miami-Dade Police Department in Doral, their headquarters, they've been flying the flags at half-staff. In fact, starting tonight, the Freedom Tower in downtown Miami, it's going to be lit up in blue for the week in honor of Officer Echaverry. So it is a community-wide show of support, and this beautiful show of support today, men and women, the community lining up. You saw them saluting as his body was driven by.
We're going to go back out to 7's TJ Parker. He's there at the ME's office watching all of this with us. TJ, what are you seeing?
Yeah, so things are beginning to wrap up here outside of the ME's office. What we're looking at on the street here is officers, law enforcement, as we've been talking about all morning long, talking with each other. As you can imagine, and we've been mentioning this has been an emotional week, a tasking week for many of these officers. A lot of them may not have known Officer Echaverry, but some did. And even if they didn't, they knew the efforts and the risks that he put into this community. And I had the opportunity to speak with several people throughout the week while covering this story, including the Police Benevolent Association President, Stedman Stahl, yesterday, who knew Echaverry personally and talked a little bit about the risk that Echaverry knew in this position, but the sacrifice that he made for this community. And to hear something like that is an emotional thing to hear, especially from the PBA president there. Also talked with Chairman of the Miami-Dade County Board of Commissioners, Jose Pepe Diaz, late yesterday, saying that Echi, who he was fondly known as, is a hero, he's a warrior. He said he is the greater essence of this community, and to have a young man like that, they don't get better than that. So out here in front of the ME's office, you see officers again talking with one another as this procession has now gone by. Definitely a somber day here in South Florida.
TJ, and we can really see the emotion on the faces of those who have gathered there, not just today, but throughout the week. I mean, back on Monday, when all of this started, we saw that night at JMH, the emotion, it was raw. I mean, from other members of the law enforcement community who were there, hoping for the best, but of course fearing the worst, which we've seen come to fruition here. But what an emotional time for all of these law enforcement members there to show their support and really trying to send a message to Officer Echaverry's family that they are standing in solidarity with them. We've heard that over and over again, and it's really a beautiful thing to see in a situation like this.
Yeah, his family members right by his side when he passed away, his parents, his sister, his fiance as well. They were in the vehicles behind his body during this procession. To see that, I'm sure that gives them some sort of comfort to know that he was so loved. We don't have any word yet on his funeral arrangements. We expect another show just like today, a ceremonial, beautiful show of respect and appreciation, because Cesar Echaverry, Officer Cesar Echaverry, did give the ultimate sacrifice for his community.
That is going to complete our coverage here of the procession honoring Officer Cesar Echaverry. We thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Ethan Calloway.
And I'm Vanessa Borge. We'll see you for 7 News at noon.
This has been a 7 News special report. We now rejoin regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, you know what? It was inspired by Def Comedy Jam. And when I got to